Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Day sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Since 24 hours ago, when we had the privilege and the pleasure of spending some time with you. We start today's show sending out our best wishes to a guy that is one of a kind. The LSU baseball community, the LSU family in general, the baseball community, not just here in Baton Rouge, but all of Louisiana, if not the country for that matter, are all familiar with the name Skip Bertman. The skipper yesterday hospitalized for an infection. He has reportedly tested negative for COVID-19, so that's good news in and of itself. But at 84 years of age, obviously the skipper is getting on up there. So for those of you that are members of the community of faith, I'm sure that he and his family would appreciate it dearly if you were to keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. A quick funny story about Skip Bertman. When I was working in sports for the local CBS affiliate, WAFB Channel 9, I got assigned as part of my beat, if you will, to cover LSU baseball. And I'll never forget the very first time that I went to a game at Alex Box Stadium. I guess I must have looked a little overwhelmed by all of it. And I'm standing there by the dugout. And I look up, and up walks Skip Bertman. And I'm saying to myself, all right, bro, be cool. Don't, this is a little overwhelming. And the skipper walked right up to me. And I saw him prior to walking up to me reach into his wallet and take out a little piece of paper. And he walked up and he said, "Hi, Skip Bertman, head coach, LSU." I said, "Well, hi, coach. I've seen you around. Clarence Bugs. I'm the new guy with the sports department at WFB Channel 9. He reached his hand out, put his card in my hand, and said, "If you need anything whatsoever, I don't care how big it is, how small it is, let me know. That stuck with me because that was something that Skip Bertman didn't have to do. He sought me out. And I guess my first regular TV job, he probably was able to ascertain right off the bat that I was not a, quote, regular at the box. There were no black people regular at the box back then. In the concession stand, maybe, but in the stands or on the field, no. And he sought me out and went out of his way to make me feel at home at LSU and at the box. And I will forever be grateful for that outreach from him. He is, if I could describe Skip Bertman in one word, the first thing that comes to mind is genuine. As genuine a person as you will ever find. And what Skipper tells you, you can take that to the bank, son, because if it's not true, it will not be because he knew it wasn't true and told you it wasn't true. Meanwhile, we are sadly today, those of us that are members of the economic community and the community of conservatives are mourning the loss of a great voice. Walter E. Williams, economist and syndicated writer, dying yesterday at the age of 82 years old, had taught his regularly scheduled economics class at George Mason University just the day before. So it was not, a case of a long lingering illness or anything like that. But I ran across an article, and his op-ed pieces, his opinion pieces, were so very powerful. And I ran across this one yesterday that I'd like to share with you. I think I can do this in the time left in this segment. It reads, I was a teenager growing up in the Richard Allen housing projects in North Philadelphia when Emmett Till was lynched in Money, Mississippi, August 28, 1955. And his brutalized, unrecognizable body later recovered from the Tallahatchie River. From 1882 to 1968, 4,743 lynchings occurred in the United States. Roughly 73% were black people, 27% were white people. Many whites were lynched because they were Republicans who supported their fellow black citizens and opposed the lawless act of lynching. Tuskegee University has the best documentation of lynching. It records a high in 1892 of 69 whites and 161 blacks lynched. By the 1940s, occurrences of lynchings fell to single digits or disappeared altogether. At the time of my youth, today's opportunities for socioeconomic advancement were non-existent for black people. For all but a few, college attendance was out of the question because of finances and racial discrimination. If you were not admitted to the black colleges of Lincoln University or Cheney State College, forget about college. I don't know of any student of my 1954 class at Philadelphia's Benjamin Franklin High School who attended college. Though the quality of education at Benjamin Franklin is a mere shadow of its past, today, roughly 17% of its graduating class has been admitted to college. The true hope for a youngster graduating from high school during the 1950s was a well-paying and steady job. My first well-paying job was a taxi driver for the Yellow Cab Company. Younger black people today have no idea of and have not experienced the poverty and discrimination of earlier generations. Also, the problems today's black people face have little or nothing to do with poverty and discrimination. Political hustlers like to blame poverty and racism while ignoring the fact that poverty and racism were much greater in years gone by, but there was not nearly the same amount of chaos. The out-of-wedlock birth rate among blacks in 1940 was about 11%. Today, it's 75%. Black female-headed households were just 18% of households in 1950, as opposed to around 68% today. In fact, from 1890 to 1940, the black marriage rate was slightly higher than that of whites. Even during slavery, when marriage was forbidden, most black children lived in biological two-parent families. In New York City, in 1925, 85% of black households were two-parent households. A study of 1880 family structure in Philadelphia shows that 3/4 of black families were two-parent households. There's little protest against the horrible and dangerous conditions under which many poor and law-abiding black people must live. It is not uncommon for 50 black people to be shot over a weekend in Chicago, not by policemen, but by other black people. About 7,300 black people are murdered each year, and not by white people or racist cops, but mostly by other black people. These numbers almost make our history of victimization by racist lynching look like child's play. The solutions to the many problems that black Americans face must come from within black communities. They will not come from the political arena. Blacks hold high offices and dominate the politics in cities such as Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and New Orleans. Yet, these are the very cities with the nation's worst performing schools, the highest crime rates, the high illegitimacy rates, and other forms of social pathology. I'm not saying that blacks having political power is the cause of these problems. What I am saying is the solution to most of the major problems that confront black people will not be found in the political arena or by electing more blacks to high office. One important step is for black Americans to stop being useful tools for the leftist hate America agenda. Many black problems are exacerbated by guilt-ridden white people. Often, they accept behavior and standards from black people that they would not begin to accept from white people. In that sense, white liberal guilt is a form of disrespect in their relationships with black Americans. By the same token, black people should stop exploiting the guilt of whites. Let us all keep in mind that history is one of those immutable facts of life. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And at the end of the day, y'all thought I was the only one, didn't you? It's always good to know that there are other free-thinking people, regardless of race, creed, or color. It is absolutely amazing what can happen when one learns to think for one's self. Walter E. Williams, gone, but in no way, shape, or form will he be forgotten. We need to get our first break of today's show out of the way. We will do so, come back, and continue rolling right along with today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owe the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Credentials, experience, and dedication matter when you're hiring someone. My 30 years in the practice of all areas of the law, my extensive appellate experience, certification as a family law specialist, leadership in our local bar association speak to my unequaled legal credentials. My thousands of hours of pro bono legal work demonstrate my dedication. I seek to serve, not for promotion, not for politics, but to honorably serve each of you.
Melanie Newcomb-Jones, Court of Appeal.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I don't know that one. Okay. All right. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Marty. A little something to be said about, getting the heads up ahead of time. Alan, wink, wink. The whole world now is watching to determine what is best for individuals when it comes to the vaccine for coronavirus. The United Kingdom, UK, if you will, yesterday their Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization, the JCVI, as is the acronym, advised health departments in the United Kingdom through their official government website that pregnant women and women planning on pregnancy in the near future should not take the COVID-19 vaccine because of a lack of data to test the safety for both the women and their developing children. Publishing this report, it included the following. There are no data as yet on the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in pregnancy, either from human or animal studies. Given this lack of evidence, JCVI favors a precautionary approach and does not currently advise COVID-19 vaccination during pregnancy. It continues, women should be advised not to come forward for vaccination if they may be pregnant or are planning a pregnancy within 3 months of the first dose. Data are anticipated which will inform discussions on vaccination in pregnancy. JCVI will review these as soon as they become available. The committee also advised, quote, that only those children at very high risk of exposure and serious outcomes, such as older children with severe neurodisabilities that require residential care, should be offered vaccination, because there's very limited data on vaccination in adolescents, with no data on vaccination in younger children at this time. They also go on to add that as more data is gathered, they will hopefully be able to get a better understanding of the safety and the effectiveness of vaccines in those two particular groups. It is to be expected something of this nature developed in this time frame, that traditional clinical trials are not going to be the norm. So again, my job is to give you information. Your job is to then take it, research it on your own, and hopefully you will then make a much better informed decision. You know, one of the things that has bothered me about this whole COVID-19 pandemic is how there doesn't seem to be this concerted effort to find out exactly where this came from. So just on a whim, last night, I started researching some additional things, and two schools of thought have dominated the conversation so far. There is the often repeated, well, it started at this wet market where they sell wild animals in Wuhan, China, and somebody bought the wrong animal, ate the wrong animal, and now we're all locked down. There is another train of thought that it came from the United States. Most of us kind of scoff at that, we laugh at it, you know, say, oh, conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things I learned early in life is that typically there is what you're told is the truth, what you perceive as the truth, and the real truth typically is somewhere in the middle. Ran across an article written by a woman that formerly worked in these labs in China, saw what was going on, allegedly, tried to alert authorities, and was ignored. She has since escaped China and now lives in this country. What I found particularly interesting in the article is that, according to her, there are 5 variations of the coronavirus, and liken it, if you will, to a tree. You have to have a seed first before a tree can grow. According to her story, there's only one place on the planet where all 5 of the coronaviruses are in a laboratory setting. And that place, of course, is America. Interestingly, and I'll be the first to admit, I did not know this, The United States military has a biolab in Fort Detrick, Maryland, where they do experiments with biomedical things, viruses and this and that and the other. This lab, because they had substandard protocols in place to safeguard against pathogen leakages, the bio lab at Fort Detrick, Maryland, was told to completely shut down. A cease and desist order was issued. Shortly thereafter, you remember the vaping scandal, the vaping epidemic, where all these people started getting sick and dying, respiratory problems, and so on and so forth. The vaping epidemic started 1 week after the cease and desist order completely shutting down the U.S. military's main biomed lab at Fort Detrick in Maryland occurred. Interestingly, a couple of weeks after that, in Hawaii, there started being reports of mysterious infections mimicking what we now know as COVID-19, even though the folks that developed the infections had never been to China. Shortly after, this largest military biolab was shut down. Members of the military traveled to China to take part in the World Military Games, where members of the military meet with other members of the military and they engage in like a military Olympics. Well, lo and behold, according to the article, members of the military from Maryland traveled to China for the World Military Games and visited Wuhan. So her assertion is these were folks that were at Fort Detrick, the place where they forced them to shut it down because security was not adequate to ensure the safety of keeping all of these pathogens away from people. Somebody made a big mistake. It got out. Military got infected. They traveled to Wuhan for the World Military Games, went to the wet market, and the rest is history. Now, let me stop right there. Conspiracy theories are a wonderful thing because there's so many. You ever watch a rabbit, how it digs holes? And there's always this path, the other path. The problem here is that, number one, we're talking about China. China says, well, there's only one place in the world that has all 5 coronaviruses in a laboratory setting, and that one place is the United States. Problem is, that's China telling you this. Those of us that have been around a long time, the name Pravda rings a bell, the state news agency for the then USSR. China will tell you, well, according, again, to the article, the lab in the city of Wuhan only had 1 coronavirus. And this lab, by the way, does research on bats and coronaviruses. So that's why they figured, okay, they ate a bat. Chinese folks have been doing this for years. Just so happened one person ate the wrong bat, and now we find ourselves where we find ourselves. Problem is, China says there's only one place on the planet that has all 5 coronaviruses in a lab setting, and that's America. Well, based on China's history, I wouldn't be surprised if China has 6. They got the 5 we all know about, plus 1 they've been working on that we don't know about. But the coincidences and the reasonableness, the plausibility, if you will, of all those dots connecting from this story is frightening. And it's definitely something that will make you go, Marty, who do I have holding? Vince. I'm going to slide you in. Don't get mad at me, Marty. Vince, how are you today, young man?
This is Vince. How you doing?
I'm doing well, big guy. What's on your mind, Vince?
I just want to tell you, we spoke about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're from New Iberia.
No, Mansour, Louisiana.
Mansour, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I called myself a coon ass.
Right. Now I remember. Yeah.
The big coon ass.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I just want to tell you, I'm still, you got my back. My family got your back.
Bless your heart.
And I've been throwing you out there, buddy. Got more people in my family listening to you.
Yes. You're the man.
I love it, and I enjoy every time you come on. I learn something all the time.
Well, bless your heart. Vince, I love you for that, my brother. Keep spreading the word, Vince.
Well, let me tell you what, baby. God bless you, and I love you. I've been around now. 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
I had my Social Security number. I was retired from the sheriff's office. I've been in riots. I've been every place. And listen, America is beautiful, and you're doing the best you can. Baby, you are unreal.
Bless your heart. Vince, love you much, my brother. Stay in touch, my friend.
Remember that last name, L.A. capital B-O-R-D-E.
Vince Laborde.
There you go, from France.
Good old South Louisiana name. Vince, I got to run. Thank you, my friend. Vince Laborde. Now that I think about it, I should have asked him if he's related to my dear friend, Chad Laborde. Well, all them Laborde, South Louisiana, probably related somewhere down the line. Either way, I know you're good people, Vince. Love you, brother. All right, let me get this break out of the way because Marty's sitting there doing, see, Marty has his thing. He goes from that to this. When he gets to this, it's on then. It's on. So let me get this break out of the way. We'll come back and talk more right where you've got it on today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Mask help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up.
Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
Melanie has exactly what it takes to be passionate, to be knowledgeable, to be thorough.
Melanie has a passion for doing the right thing for families, even when the right thing might be difficult.
And I think that's best exemplified by the thousands of hours of pro bono work that she does.
And even after 30 years of practicing law, Melanie still has that fire.
Melanie Newcomb Jones, Court of Appeal.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. Boy, I got chills just now watching that Premier Pest Control spot. And no, not because I'm Bugs. Not because of my last name. How dare y'all insinuate such a thing? Although it used to be funny, Duga Pest Control, their tagline is, "Our name scares bugs to death." So when we would do Facebook Live back in the radio days, and they would run that commercial, I'd always hide under the desk so I could pop back up. Are they gone yet? But I digress. Watching that story for Premier, that ad for Premier Pest Control, seeing all those spiders. I had the unfortunate experience of being bitten by a brown recluse spider. And if you know anything at all about the brown recluse, you know those things are wicked nasty. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting on the sofa waiting on my ride to the hospital. Because after a point I realized there's something real funky going on here. When you can look down inside your knee at a wound about this big around and about that deep, you know something's seriously wrong. So I'm sitting on the sofa waiting for my ride to take me to the hospital to find out what in the world is this on my knee that's going on. I'm flipping through the channels, and I just happened to stop on CNN. And this was obviously before I had the veil lifted from my eyes, but that's a different show for a different day. I'm flipping through the channels, I stop at CNN, and 30 seconds later, the first plane slams into the World Trade Center. Those two things, spiders, particularly the brown recluse, and 9/11 will forever be intertwined in my mind. It's one of those intricacies of the world in which we live, where something this small can bite you and inject a toxin, a flesh-eating toxin that literally can lead you to lose a leg, a limb, or a life. And every time I see that commercial and they show the black widow and the brown recluse and these other, I get chills up and down my spine watching that. So if you ever see me getting up from under the desk as we come back into commercial, it's probably because we just ran that spot for Premier Pest Control, and I saw all those spiders and freaked out. It's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. That thing is just, but it did get me out of a ticket. I must admit. Funny part about all of this. Day after, I get pulled over by a state trooper for an expired inspection sticker. Yeah, I know, I was stupid. It didn't take care of it, but I was sick. I could barely walk, except for crutches. So I forget where I was going, and sure enough, I passed the state trooper, and whoop, I see him do the quick U-turn. He pulls me over. Just so happened, still had my crutches in the car and the like, so I open the door, get out on the crutches, and the trooper says, "Sir, do you realize your inspection sticker's been expired?" I said, "Yes, sir, officer, I do." I said, "But I have a medical condition that I'm dealing with, and I've been dealing with it for a few days, so I've been unable to get that taken care of." So right about then, I sit back down in the driver's seat. And all I could wear at that time were loose-fitting sweatpants because the wound was so painful. Well, I'm being honest, I may as well tell you. A lot of you remember what was popular back in the day? The little bitty end tables made out of PVC plastic. Remember those? At night, that wound from the bite was so painful, I couldn't even put a sheet on my leg. So I had to sleep in the bed with the leg that was bitten. I had to put a PVC table over my leg and put the sheet over that. Y'all can laugh at me if you want. Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, you have no right at all to ever laugh at anybody else. But I could see the look on the trooper's face, like, okay, what kind of medical condition could you have? I've heard probably just about everything. You can't say you're pregnant because you're a guy, so that's not going to work. What is this medical condition? So I rolled my pants leg up and I pulled the bandage back. He's like, "Oh my God, here's your license, man. Go ahead on, get that taken care of." Got me out of that one, buddy. Got me out of that one. But the look on his face was priceless. Because God bless him, and y'all know how much I love law enforcement. Y'all know I truly do. They've heard every explanation out there for why I was speeding, why my stickers expired, why I don't have this, why I don't have that. They've heard it all. But when he saw what was underneath that bandage on my leg from that bite from the brown recluse spider, that was the end of that discussion. He said, "Let me hear him send this man on his way and hope that this is not contagious." So if you are ever in that situation, don't hesitate. Those things are nothing to play with. Absolutely nothing. I've got to ask as we head to our final break of today's show, where has common sense gone? How is it that something we used to pride ourselves on in this country has so very rapidly just disappeared from the American landscape? Well, maybe I shouldn't be so harsh. How is it that something that was so prevalent among Americans disappeared so rapidly from such a large segment of our population? Typically, when common sense is no longer the rule of the day, there are going to be some unfortunate consequences that are going to come along with this. Tragically, one of them recently resulted in the death of a darling 5-year-old. But the comments from people there on scene where this happened speaks volumes about us as Americans. Let me get my final break of today's show out of the way. We'll bang this puppy out, come back, put that big old pretty bow on it, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Spuggs Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Credentials, experience, and dedication matter when you're hiring someone. My 30 years in the practice of all areas of the law, my extensive appellate experience, certification as a family law specialist, leadership in our local bar association speak to my unequaled legal credentials. My thousands of hours of pro bono legal work demonstrate my dedication. I seek to serve, not for promotion, not for politics, but to honorably serve each of you.
Melanie Newcomb Jones, Court of Appeal.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back for the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. You know, the older you get in life, if you had good parents, great parents, folks that you could look up to, the wiser they become to you as your years go by. My late father, God bless him, Sarge, used to say to his kids, there's nothing worse than an educated fool. Meaning, you can have all the degrees in the world, all sorts of letters behind your name, all sorts of diplomas hanging on the wall. But if you don't have common sense, all that stuff is pretty much worthless. Granny Clampett used to say on the Beverly Hillbillies, book learning versus common sense is no contest. Unfortunately, with what the world is these days, a lack of common sense many times can lead you to finding yourself in a life-threatening situation, or even worse, the loss of life. ran across this story last night, and it spoke volumes to me about what we have become and are increasingly becoming as Americans these days. That's a bunch of folks with quantum leaps in technology, and for every step we take forward with technology, we take 3 back with common sense. This story is so tragic, but it speaks volumes about us as Americans. In California, there is a thing called Christmas Tree Lane. It's the equivalent of, Marty, what's the name of the thing that they do at Lamar Dixon every year with all the Christmas lights and stuff, and you drive through and you look, I forget the name, but probably comparable to Christmas in the Oaks and any number of celebrations all across the country where the family piles in the car and they go and drive past this big ornate Christmas light display. At Christmas Tree Lane, it's a tradition. And Christmas Tree Lane, like so many other places, has a railroad track that runs across it. So to get into the attraction, for lack of a better word, you've got to cross the railroad track. Opening night for Christmas Tree Lane, as you might imagine, especially with COVID-19, everybody's cooped up, this, that, and the other. There's a huge crowd of cars coming to view the Christmas light display. An individual with his family in their van, minivan, stops on the tracks, and unfortunately, a train comes along, tries to apply the brakes. You all know how long it takes a train to stop. Slams into the van and kills a 5-year-old. Here's the part of the story that was most unsettling for me. Graciela Galinda was waiting in traffic to view Christmas Tree Lane when she heard the train blow the horn and then the impact. Quote, "Right when I was at the light, I was like, someone's going to get hit on the train tracks. And sure enough, I heard the train and then the boom." Galinda wishes authorities would address the issue before another tragedy happens. Quote, "It kind of makes me uneasy because I know there was a patrol officer at the entrance of Christmas Tree Lane, but there was no one directly near the tracks to obviously let people know not to stop on the tracks because it was a pretty big problem. Everyone was stopping on the tracks." Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You have to take a test to earn a driver's license. And in that test, there is a specific number of chapters that you have to know, dealing with things like railroad crossings, emergency vehicles, reading road signs, and the like. And yet, she readily acknowledges everyone was stopping on the tracks. They need to get somebody out here to tell people don't stop on the tracks. If you didn't have to pass a test and demonstrate the fact that you know these things, that would be one thing. But wouldn't common sense say, if I stop on these tracks and a train mysteriously appears, if the train hits my minivan, I'm going to lose this fight every single time. So as a result, when the car in front of me moves up, I'm going to sit at the tracks until the car in front of me moves up, then I'll cross the tracks and I'll be safe. I am sad to say, some of y'all need to be governed. Some of y'all don't possess the sense that God gave a billy goat. Now this woman, despite every single person driving had to pass a test to get the license, every single person knows if you're in a van, you get hit by a train, you're going to lose. And yet, her approach is, well, we need to get somebody out here to tell people not to stop on the tracks. Some of y'all need to be governed because you don't have the sense God gave a billy goat. Some of y'all need people to tell you when to eat, what to eat, where to eat, what to wear, how to wear it, what to do, what not to do, because you don't possess a lick of common sense. Sad part about this is now a darling 5-year-old who did nothing wrong is dead. Common sense, y'all. Common sense can save us a lot of problems in this country. My time's up, and I gotta go. But once again, this day, just like any other, I give it to you. You're right. America, we are not perfect. But doggone it, for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there is no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And so do I. Then again, don't really matter, because there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care. God bless.